Okay, this is the meeting for the Board of Park Commissioners for Tuesday, September 6th. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Here.
Mrs. Pierce? Here. Mr. Fox?
Here.
Okay, we have our minutes from two meetings that we've undertaken. The one July 5th meeting, we have the minutes, and our August 2nd meeting. Let's take the July 5th meeting first. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion?
I wasn't here for that meeting.
Well, then I'll go ahead and second it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Then we have the August 2nd meeting. In your agenda, it's termed a special meeting, but that was the regular monthly meeting that we had. We just had it at a special occasion, which was the Board of Park Superintendent's office. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They both stand accepted. Okay, our reports. Mr. Drake, do you have anything to add to your report, sir?
Good morning. Yes, I do. First of all, I'd like to thank the Mayor's Cycling Committee. They've been working extremely hard to get some improvements done to our mountain bike trail, as well as some additions. I know we had talked earlier this summer about the Prairie Trail and the lower field at Duke Park and possibly expanding that. They have done that. It's completed. This was all done with the volunteer crew group from the Mayor's Cycling Committee and other active riders that are up there. And so they're just about every night there's a group up there through the week riding, and it's been very well received. Jeff Schultz has kind of taking the lead on that, and so things are really happening. Very active group up there, and they've done a good job, so I want to thank them. Also add that fall sports are now in full swing. Little League football kicked off Saturday, and so with that and soccer, we're pretty much into full swing with all fall sports. So.
Good. Anything else? Any questions for Mr. Drake?
No, I think those trails do look good. I've seen them quite a bit. Do you have any idea how many miles that is?
Right now, the Prairie Trail is an additional 3 miles, approximately 3 miles. They're doing some more improvements in the wooded section of the trail, and once that's all done, we'll have between 6 and 7 miles total just at Duke Park of mountain bike trail.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Seiler.
Good morning.
You have anything to add to your report?
Just that this summer was a good summer for the pool. Carrie's in the process of putting together a final report, as she typically does in September, so we should have that for you next month. And we'll be winterizing the pool. Patterson Pools will be coming this Thursday to get everything finalized for us with regard to the circulation system. And renovations are continuing to move forward with the arena. We're targeting to get our ice back up and operating on Monday, September the 26th is our goal. So we'll still obviously be doing work in the arena itself, but the work that's over the main ice floor and in the seating area should be at least completed so that we can start to use the ice again. We're targeting a couple of events, smaller scale events in October. Again, they'll still be working in the building. We'll be working around them and then around us. And the target time frame, I believe, for the entire project is in January.
What's the impact of the closing of the Hare Arena on Hobart? The impact?
We've received some calls from some events that were displaced. Several of them were using the space at Hare that was more in the exhibition space, which is a much larger space than we can accommodate. So those particular events didn't necessarily work out for us. We have contracted with a couple ice user groups that have been using the ice down at Hare for hockey, and we've also seen some influx of some numbers into our youth hockey program as a result of that as well.
Very good. Any questions of Mr. Seiler?
No.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Green.
Good morning.
Do you have anything to add to your report?
No, not to the report, no.
Okay. You're making recommendations of fall rates. Have these been adopted, or are you suggesting that we approve those today?
Yeah, no, those are the same ones as last year. We didn't change any rates. but I just recommended that we adopt them again for this
Okay.
2016
So
at
you-
the same rate,
And they would be effective what date?
October 1st.
October 1st.
Is that typical for all courses around?
Yeah,
or-
just about everybody goes to fall rates, and matter of fact, they call them winter rates, so they just do them all the way through spring even too. But we only do it just in the fall,
Okay.
which makes us competitive with everybody else.
And you've checked the market?
Yes, it's
Okay.
still, everybody's basically the same as they have been for the last several years, I'd say.
We've received a recommendation from the golf course superintendent on the 2016 fall rates. Does anybody have any questions of him before we take action? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to take action on the recommendation.
I submit the motion to approve these fall rates.
There's a motion to approve. Is there support for the motion?
Second.
There's a motion and support. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're adopted, Ken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Green?
Just like to update you on August play this year. Although we didn't have any rain, the heat took its toll. Started out pretty good, and then time we got to the middle of August, play really dropped off from the heat. So we were about 20% down from last year, which I didn't think it would be quite that much, but after the numbers were added up, it was a good 20% down. So it got so hot that people got tired of it, and just reduced their amount of play.
Sure.
And so hated to see that because we had such a good June and July, and then have August be so warm that it just totally went the other way.
Is it picking back up here in September?
Yeah, I mean, right now I think it'll pick back up. We got some warm days this week too.
Yeah.
They're calling for 90 tomorrow and 89 tomorrow, Thursday. So I'm sure that'll take its toll. But we're also back into, school's back in session now, so our play drops off pretty substantial anyhow in September. But hopefully once we get through the next few days, the weather will even out and be a little more normal, and then I think play will resume.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else from Mr. Green?
No.
Okay, I don't have any report from the Planning Commission. New business. Jeremy, do you want to address the matter that
Yes, so you may or may not recall, in April 14th, I'd sent an email to the board in regards to a shelter donation from Gary and Pat Weaver that would be at or adjacent to the golf course along the bike path. They are ready to move forward with that. We're ready to go ahead and place the order for the shelter itself. We just need board approval for that. It'll be right beside the golf course portion of the bike path as you're entering the golf course, just to the right. So it'll sit between the bike path and the river, kind of overlooking the river. They wanted to do that along with a picnic table, I believe a bike rack, and then a bike workstation as well that will be able to hold the bikes and then have tools attached to it. The riders can access the tools and do any maintenance or repairs on their bikes while they're there. So the color that was decided on was a terracotta roof with a beige structure. It's a 16-foot octagon gazebo structure. And again, this is will be a donation from Gary and Pat Weaver. So we're just ready to move forward with approval and to roll forward with the project.
any questions of Mr. Drake?
Are we going to put a plaque out there?
Yes.
Thanking them for that?
Yes, we did talk about that. That would be more than likely on the concrete or possibly one of the posts of the structure itself to note that it was a donation from Gary and Pat Weaver.
So what type of tools? Is it like a pump out there for?
I believe it's an air pump. It's a station that'll actually, it's an upright station that the bikes can actually be held on, so it's up off the ground, the bike's up off the ground. I believe there's an air pump and then just common tools that would be used for bike repair. They're attached by cables to the structure itself so that the tools don't walk off or get lost or stolen. And so we hope to match colors as best we can to the color of the structure, so it'll all fit and tie together nicely. But that way riders can work on their bikes or do any maintenance as needed while they're on the path.
I just noticed something similar to that in Pickwood just this last weekend.
Yes.
Outside their city building there,
Yeah.
so
It'll
I
be
thought that
very
was pretty neat.
similar, I believe, to the one that they have installed up there.
Any other questions, Mr. Drake?
Oh, when is the schedule for that?
So we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks delivery on the shelter itself. So we're probably looking at more of a November, early December timeframe before completion.
Great.
If everybody's okay with it, I'll entertain a motion to accept the donation and then approve the purchasing and construction of the gazebo.
So moved.
A motion,
Second.
and there's a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Stands adopted. Valerie, would you get a letter out to Mr. and Mrs. Weaver thanking
Yes.
them for their donation? Mr. Titterington, do you have anything to come before the board?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually have several things. The more I
Okay.
sat there, the more I doodled. First of all, looking at the August commission minutes, just a couple of minor corrections. I'm channeling you
Okay.
today, sir. Page 2 in the header, it says July 5th, but you probably want to reference August 2nd on that one.
Excuse me, what?
On page 2 of the special meeting, on the
Okay.
header, it says July 5th instead of August 2nd.
It's only a one-page document. And it's not called special meeting anymore. Valerie and I changed that.
Okay, so sometimes, all right, okay,
Okay.
I understand. So that's the second page of July 5th?
Yes.
Okay, very good, then that's correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
But on the first item, request to use Prouty Plaza, Unity Way, I think it's United Way, is that what we want there? Under the title?
Yeah, it's right.
Okay, United Way, and then United Way has asked for permission.
Okay.
Just to clarify, in Mr. Drake's general reports, thanking the bike committee, just to clarify, so that we don't start something that we don't need to, the mountain bike trails that they are working on currently are the ones at Duke Park. They have nothing to do with Notting Hill or the cemetery property. Just needed to get that on the record. Thank you. Also, just to let everyone know, the Miami County Convention and Visitors Bureau did commission a study of recreational opportunities in Miami County. Just to let you know, it's going to be coming out. It's going to be more widely reported in the next month or so. Highlights from that include a lot of emphasis on Duke Park and the potential that we have there with the new parts of the property, including the expansion of the soccer fields, but also, of course, the Duke North ball field facility. And then the other one that Jeremy and I are going to work on, at least to get some costs, is they mention lacrosse and the fact that there is a team.
Rugby.
Is it rugby?
Rugby sevens.
Thank you. And the countywide team that uses Archer Park, and one of the shortcomings is that the field is not as flat as they would like. However, we are, I guess, the only facility, the only location in the county that offers a field large enough for that activity. So we at least want to see what it would take to flatten that, make it a little more usable, and perhaps spark a little more interest in rugby. Brief update on Treasure Island and the Marina building. We are wrapping up the construction there. The restaurant continues to build out. It does say opening soon. I think they got a little delayed with some permitting and some demolition, but they're going full bore. They will have a function that they will be catering for the Miami Valley, the Greater Dayton Mayors and Managers Association, but it won't be open to the public yet. That'll be next Wednesday night. So we'll get a preview of the fair and the wait staff. As far as Treasure Island goes, there are a couple of events left, but most of the major events are done for the season. They all went fairly well. We were very happy with the results there. Look forward to expanding those offerings next year. What remains, probably the biggest thing that remains to be done, is at the end of September, the contractor will be doing some additional reseeding and overseeding of the grass to hopefully cover some of the bare spots, if not all of them. Finally, I did share already with the chair, but I will pass out a couple of copies. We commissioned, contracted with Candy Goodall, a local architect, to give us some options on a future project. I'm trying to make this pretty graphics.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
As you'll recall, the Operation Recreation includes, as part of their menu of items, renovating the clubhouse at Miami Shores Golf Course. These are some drafts, including a couple of options related to configuring the inside, changing restrooms, and one option, moving the pro shop, improving and expanding and modernizing the dining area, the concessions area. And then the first page is just a rendering that Candy's staff did regarding the exterior elevations. Just an FYI, at this point, nothing is set in stone. You know, if this comes to pass, it is a $1.2 million to $1.4 million rough estimate for doing the renovations that are recommended by Mrs. Goodall. If it does come to pass, however, there would be a committee involved, and then we would start tackling the details.
How much more square footage is this than we currently have, if any?
Well, I don't think it's so much more square footage, other than we're taking the chimney out on the inside of the snack bar now, which would give us more space in there and more space that would be utilized.
Gotcha.
So we're not really enlarging it. It's more of just remodeling it and giving it a facelift.
So the outside shell will continue to stay there?
Well, option 2, you'll see we do cover or complete the, what is it?
The end porch on the
east
south
side,
end,
South end.
we would cover that and make that the golf shop area, which would
For
be
pro shop.
right next, or the pro shop.
So we're adding a little bit of sheltered space?
Right. And what we would probably do, since we're losing that porch area, would build a deck out front of the existing porch in the front, which would give us more space and room for sitting and dining.
Gotcha, good.
But as far as the inside space, our main accomplishment there is going to be more space to utilize because of the chimney being gone inside. And also, we are hopefully going to put in some partitions that can be drawn across so we can separate if we have small meetings of groups, you know,
Good.
which would be very helpful at times.
Good.
But of course, updating the mechanical systems,
Right.
as well as completely reconfiguring and I believe moving a little bit the restroom facilities.
Right. And there'd be a walk-in freezer space and cooler space too added to it.
HVAC?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, these are, again, all conceptual at this point, but as the committee makes its rounds and makes its presentations, you will see these show up again as draft renderings.
Okay, good.
That's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Titterton?
Well, just since you mentioned the Miami Shores, is that planned to go on the ballot? Has it already been approved? I guess
That is on the ballot for November 6th, I think, 8th, 6th, whatever that date is.
First Tuesday.
I should probably find that out, but the presidential election, it is on the ballot.
Okay.
I've got a question concerning, we were talking about the rugby sevens out at Archer Park, and I'm not sure if that report you referenced also talked about restroom facilities out there. What's the status of those? Do we know?
We are in the process of looking at options for lift station pumps for sewer. We explored a couple of different options and have found that it's not going to be economical, but the most realistic and feasible way to get utilities to a restroom that would be on the opposite side of the, well, next to the shelter in that area, would be to come through the small pocket park on Governor's, and through that area. That is a long run and will require some help getting the sewage back to the main. And so we're in the process talking to a couple of manufacturers to see which option, and then so we're continuing to plan that project out.
Isn't there a manhole in the parking lot on the north end or east end?
South end.
South end?
Yes.
That's not.
We would, it was determined that the restaurant, the facility would have to go on that end of the park to be able to fall, the gravity feed to that main.
Yeah, we don't like that.
That same area.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Mr. Kegley, I see you back there. Do you have anything, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to come before the commission? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand